Hello everyone, welcome to News Today edition of 12th February. Myself Nilesh and I will be taking this session. In this session, we will cover important development of the day. Before we start today's session, let's see the headlines of the day. In this session, we will cover 5 main news, 1 personality news and 8 quick updates. In main news, first main news is about Dawes Compact on Antimicrobial Resistance 2025, which has been launched by the World Economic Forum. Then second main news is about space-based system propelling national development goals. Then third main news is about NITI Aayog report, which is talking about scenarios towards the Viksit Bharat and the net zero waste report. Then fourth main news is about periodic labor force survey released for the October and December quarter 2025. And last main news is about NITI Aayog study report on the agriculture. So without wasting any time, let's dive into first main news of the day. So first main news of the day is about Dawes Compact on Antimicrobial Resistance 2025, which has been launched by the World Economic Forum. As we already know, World Economic Forum is the NGO, and this topic is very important for your paper 2, that is issues related to health. So what is the background? So background is that this compact is supported by Unified Coalition for AMR Responses, aim to unlock the sustainable financing from both public and private sources to reduce the global AMR deaths, saving more than 100 million lives by the 2050. And what is the Unified Coalition for AMR Responses? It is also known as UCARE, and it is the part of the Quadripartite Joint Secretariat on the AMR, and it is the initiative of the UN and various UN bodies such as WHO, then UN Environmental Program are the part of this UCARE initiative, right? So this is about the background. Now we will see about the key facts. So there is one report which is very important for your examination, that is Global Antibiotic Resistance Surveillance Report 2025, which has been launched by the WHO. Please remember that UPSC generally asks the report and asks which is the organization which have released it. So WHO have released the Global Antibiotic Resistance Surveillance Report, and what it states? So it states that in India around 1.27 million deaths in 2019 and contribute to nearly 5 million deaths globally. So please remember that this is the one of the highest number in the recent year. The average is 6 lakh deaths, but in 2019 the deaths were around 1.27 million in India, right? What are the GDP impacts? So it affects GDP around 3 trillion to 5 trillion worldwide. So this is the huge impact. This is almost the GDP of India few years back. So you can imagine how much the issue of the antimicrobial resistance is there and its impact on the world. So this is about the background. Now we will see what is the antimicrobial resistance. So before we discuss what is it, let us understand what is the antimicrobial resistance. You know that in some year ago there were some coils, some mosquito repellents, and those liquids were very powerful to repel the mosquitoes, and those coils were also very useful. But nowadays, even we use these coils and those liquids, mosquitoes are not dying and they are surviving. Why? Because mosquitoes have developed the resistance for these coils and these liquids. This is the case in case of some of the bacteria, fungi, viruses and other parasites. And what is the cause? So it is occurs when bacteria, viruses, fungi, parasites no longer respond to antimicrobial medicines. also called as antibiotics, antivirals, antifungals, etc., making them ineffective, right? And it is the natural process that happens over the time through the genetic changes in the pathogens. So what happens when baby is born? Over the period of time, we give baby some medications. Then this baby becomes adult, and then old person. Over the period of time, it takes various medicines. And what happens? Because the body and the various pathogens in the body are used to various medication, they are resistant to those medication, and that medication is no longer useful to that particular person. So what we generally do, we give powerful medication than the previous one. And this is the case that the antibiotics have stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, such kind of stages. That is the power of the antibiotic. Over the period of time, your body is resistant to lesser powerful antibiotics, and that is why doctors give you higher powerful impact doses of the antibiotics. But what are the problems that these antibiotics are going through the antimicrobial resistance? First is that over the period of time, person takes various medicines. Secondly, there is another type, that is human induced. And which are those causes? Such as over the counter medication. So what happens generally when you are sick? What you do? You don't go to the doctor, you directly go to the medical shop and ask for the medication. Then what that medical store owner gives you? He gives you generally antibiotic, because you want a result quickly. That is the one aspect. Then secondly, even if you had the normal fever, you take the antibiotic will work, but with the time the effect of that antibiotic will be reduced. That is the one cause. Secondly, what happens when doctors give you medication and in 2-3 days you feel better? Then what you do? You stop taking medication which is prescribed by the doctor. In this case, what happens? That the disease is not cured properly, and there are some of the bacteria or the fungi in your body, and those fungi become anti-resistant to that particular medication, and after in future when you feel sick, that antibiotic is not working properly. That is the second thing. Then there are also some agriculture activities. So in agriculture, many times what happens, that the animals are given the antibiotic for the growth, for the anti-disease treatments, and those antibiotics are also coming in our life through the meat or through the milk and all the dairy products. So that is also one of the factors. Then also hospitals are not disposing these antibiotics properly, and what happens? These antibiotics leach into the various sources such as water sources in the land, and all those things come into our life through drinking water and other factors. So this is also one of the factors. So this is all which is actually transforming India into antimicrobial disaster, right? So these are the some of the causes, some of the natural causes, some of the human made causes. This is about the AMR in India. What is the status of AMR in India? Around 6 lakh lives, as we already discussed, are lost each year due to the resistant infections. And in 2019, the number was highest, right? So this is all about the AMR. Now we'll see key issues with the rising AMR. So what are the key issues? The first issue is about spread of drug resistance pathogen. And because of the spread of drug resistance pathogen threatens ability to treat common infection and perform life-saving procedures. What happens? Because you are drug resistant to many of the medication, you are endangered in life-saving procedures because the drugs are not working on you. That is the first thing. This is very rampant in India, particularly regarding the TB, right? So the drug resistant TB is increasing, and the reason is that because we are taking antibiotics without the prescription and without the need. That is the one thing. When we are learning something in UPSC, it is not only for the examination purpose. It is also impactful and useful in your life, in your family life, in the life of the society. So please understand the AMR which is rampant there, because we are not very aware about these things, and you should be aware of these things. Then secondly, there is spread of resistance genes, because there are resistant genes which are creating, and that is creating the silent pandemic, as we already discussed, and it is expected to cause over 39 million deaths globally between 2025 to 2050. So please understand, around 40 million deaths will be there because of the antimicrobial resistance. So this is a huge pandemic, right? Then there is impact on the human capital. Please understand. So what is the human capital? So human capital is the capital of the humans which are skillful, which are educated, and which contribute to the economy impactfully. But because of the weak population, because of their health is not good, it is affecting the overall economic development. How it is affecting the overall economic development? So the health is weak. What happens when health is weak? So the weak adult, right, their capacity to education is also less, right? And because their capacity is less, the economic contribution and economic growth is also less, right? And when economic growth and economic contribution is less, there will be poverty and lack of capacity to treat the health diseases, right? And it will again impact the health, and this is the vicious cycle which actually affect the economic growth, social development, and all the aspect of the society. So please remember this thing also. You can draw such diagrams in your answer to get the better marks, right? Then there is economic burden. As we already discussed, there is economic burden about 5.2 trillion according to World Bank, right? So these are the some of the issues with the AMR and rising AMR. Now we will see what are the key initiatives taken by the India and the world to curb the AMR. The first key initiative is National Action Plan on the AMR 2.0 2025, and it will last till 2029, and it is the unified coordinated effort across the human, animal, agriculture, and environmental sectors, right? As we already discussed, that AMR is not confined to the humans only, it is in the animals, in the plants, and various environmental sectors also. So it is the comprehensive approach. Then there is first indigenous antibiotic. Please remember this name, the nabithromycin. So this is the first indigenous antibiotic launched in 2024, and it is designed to treat both typical and atypical drug resistant bacteria. What is the atypical? So bacteria which generally lacks the cell membrane are called as atypical bacteria, and it will treat both typical and atypical drug resistant bacteria, right? Then there is national surveillance networks, and what is the purpose of this national surveillance networks? As the name suggests, they will have the surveillance and the data, and they will provide this data to the global AMR surveillance system, that is also known as GLASS, which is initiated by the WHO, right? And because of the data, there will be effective implementation of the policies to curb the AMR in the world and in the India particularly, right? So these are the national initiatives. Then what are the global initiatives? So the first global initiative is about Global Action Plan, which is also known as GAP, on AMR during 2015 by the World Health Assembly, which is by the WHO, right? Then there is United Nations General Assembly High Level Meeting on the AMR 2024 to reduce the global deaths associated with the bacterial AMR by 10% by 2030 against the 2019 baseline. Right? So United Nations is also taking various initiatives. Now we'll see other initiatives which are very commendable. You can quote these initiatives in your answer. The first is the WHO Aware program. Right? Then what is the Aware? Aware is the access, watch and reserve. So it will have the access, then it will have the watch on the AMR, and then it will have the reserve methodologies to treat the AMR. That is the one thing. Then there is red line awareness campaign. What is the red line awareness campaign? When you take medicine or the strip of the medicine, there will be a red line behind that strip which indicates that this is the antibiotic, and when the medicine is not antibiotic, there will be no strip behind it. For example, if you take paracetamol, so there will be no strip behind the paracetamol because it is not antibiotic, right? So it is the one of the issue, and people should be aware that you should ask for the non-antibiotic medicine for the normal diseases. This is the one thing. Then there is Operation Amrit, and this is by the Kerala government to treat the AMR. So this is also very innovative stage and step. You can quote all these initiatives in your answer. Right? Now we'll see some of the MCQs regarding the AMR. Let's see the first MCQ. Which of the following are the reasons for the occurrence of the multi-drug resistance in the microbial pathogens in India? The first is that genetic predisposition of the some people. So it is not a genetic disease. So first is wrong. Then secondly, taking incorrect doses of the antibiotics to cure the disease, as we already discussed, it is correct. Then thirdly, using antibiotics in the livestock farming. Didn't we discuss this? This is also correct. So fourth is the multiple chronic diseases in the same people. This is not correct. So what is the answer? 2 and 3. Right? So answer is B. This is very easy question. Now see this question asked in the mains. Can overuse and the free availability of the antibiotics without the doctor's prescription be contributors to the emergence of the drug resistant diseases in India? What are the available mechanisms for monitoring and control? Critically discuss the various issues involved. So all the discussion we actually did is the answer of this question, right? So this is about the questions which are asked about the AMR. Now we'll see the second main news of the day. The second main news of the day is about space-based systems propelling the national development goals, which means why the space exploration and the space program of India or the world is important for the socio-economic development of the country and the economic development overall. This is very important for paper 3, that is awareness in the field of space, achievement in the science and technology. So let's see the development. So Indian Space Research Organization have undertaken various initiatives and projects to aid the national development across various sectors, and this has been stated by the government in the parliament recently, right? So this is the background of this. Now we'll see various key development goals supported by the space-based system. So please remember that the questions have been asked twice regarding this, and question can be asked again, because in space sector we invest huge amount of money, and many people argue that why to waste this money in this space. Instead you can give this money to the education, health and other social sectors, because India is not that developed in the social sectors. But when you study and understand the efforts in the space technology and their impact on the social and economic life, you understand that this money invested is not the waste money, but it is actually contributing to the development of the economy and society and various sectors of the economy. Let's see what are those aspects. The first aspect is about agriculture development, right? So there is crop. Crop is comprehensive remote sensing observation on the crop program, and it is supports to the schemes like Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. So it actually improve the accessibility. It can see where is various agriculture losses to give the Fasal Bima. So this is the one thing. Then there is disaster management because of the satellites, Earth orbit, Earth observation satellites and other satellites. So it helps monitoring glacial lakes, then mapping of the flood affected area, lightning nowcastings and satellite integrated landslide management and the alert system. And by that we can actually avoid the man and material losses due to disasters, right? Then there is also cyclone management system which is very effective in curbing the loss of the human life and the material life, which is very effective in India particularly. This is also one sector. Then there is vessel communication and support system under the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. And what it does, so it gives effective information to the fishermen who are giving deep into sea for the fishing purposes, and the information actually helps to safety of the life and disaster alerts to the fishermen. So these are some of the goals. Then there are another thing, that is the climate monitoring. So basically it actually helps Geo AI framework for the air quality monitoring and quantification of the greenhouse gas emission inventory for the land use changes and other things. So it is very important for the climate change. Then weather forecasting also. So it can give the better idea of the weather forecasting. A farmer can be benefited by these weather forecasting. He can understand when to harvest the crop, when not to harvest the crop, when to give the irrigation to the crops. All these are the important aspect. Then societal welfare. So monitoring of the watershed development component under the Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana, and monitoring projects such as Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, Housing for All Urban, and the Bhuvan Geo portal providing the online remote sensing data services. And because of this, e-governance is promoted and there is less chance for the corruption, and there are huge potential for the transparency and accountability in the services. Then there is data archival centers. So Indian Navy helps web portals providing the customized satellite directions to the various products. And there are other services also, such as research and then basic science. Because of this research and the basic science, there is development in various sectors related to space, supernovas, and even the Mars mission, even the moon mission and its related development. That is one aspect. Then there is product which are developed because of the various inventions related to space. So basically NASA had the development wing which generally creates the products which are useful in this space, but those products nowadays become the daily part of our life, such as memory phone, then scratch resistant lenses in your lenses, then there are camera phone sensors, then there are cordless tools such as cordless mics and all those things, and then water purification systems, and even the freeze-dried foods which we generally consume. So all these developments and other developments also because of there is discovery and invention related to space, and those inventions are now part of our daily life. So these are the some of the aspects in the socio-economic sphere how space is useful. Now we will see about the India's space profile. So as we know, the main organization is ISRO and the headquarters is in Bangalore, and it is formed in 1969 as India's space agency aiming to harvest the benefit of outer space for the India and mankind. That is the first thing. Then major constituent of the ISRO is under the Department of the Space, right? Then what are the major fleets? So the active operational launch vehicles such as Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle PSLV, then GSLV, then Geosynchronous Satellite Launch Vehicle MK3, and what are these key spacecraft missions such as NISAR. Then there is Aditya L1 for the solar observation. Then there is Chandrayaan 3, which landed the rover on the South Pole, right? So these are the some of the important missions. Then which are the upcoming missions such as Gaganyaan and Bharatiya Antariksh Station 1, which is expected by the 2021. So the first component of the Bharatiya Antariksh mission will go in 2028 as per the government information in the parliament, and by 2035 overall station will be in the space. So this is about the India's space profile in general. Right now we'll see the MCQ related to it. Please understand there have been various MCQs and the mains question in this. I have given some of the question. Try to solve other questions also. The first question is from the 2018. With reference to India's satellite launch vehicles, consider the following statement. First statement is that PSLV launch satellites useful for the Earth resource monitoring, whereas GSLVs are designed mainly to launch communications satellites. So this is right. So it is geostationary orbit satellites, and it is around 36,000 kilometers above. So this statement is correct. Then what is the second statement? Satellite launched by the PSLV appears to remain permanently fixed. Not PSLV, it is GSLV. So GSLV satellites appears to remain permanently fixed in the same position in the sky. So second statement is wrong. And what is the answer? Answer is A. That is one only. This is the prelims question. There are two mains questions also. What is India's plan to have its own space station, and how will it benefit our space program? So you can write this answer as we already discussed, which are the upcoming programs of the ISRO. Then see this another question. Discuss the India's achievements in the field of space science and the technology. How has the application of this technology helped India in the socio-economic development? All the article and its aspect we discuss is actually the answer of this question, which was asked in the 2016. That is why I told you that the question have been asked directly from this topic as we are discussing, right? I have also given one MCQ for your understanding. Please solve this MCQ and give the answer in the comment section, right? Now we'll see third main news of the day. So third main news of the day is about NITI Aayog report, and report's name is Scenarios Towards the Viksit Bharat and the Net Zero Waste Report, right? And this is very important for paper 3, that is conservation, environmental pollution and the degradation. So without wasting any time, what is the development? So development is that this report identifies critical infrastructure gaps and societal barriers while outlining strategic pathways for India's waste sector to align with its nation's 2070 net zero goals, right? And in India, legally, the waste is classified into 6 types. Please remember this fact. You can directly write this fact as an introduction to your answer also, right? And which are those 6 types? The first is the municipal waste, second is the hazardous waste, then there is electronic waste, then biomedical waste, plastic waste, and finally construction waste, right? So this is the important fact. Then there is solid waste management rules, and which will be effective from the 2026, and these will replace the rules which were there from the 2016. So please remember these rules also, which are very important for your examination. And in this there will be 4-stage segregation, so such as wet, dry, sanitary and other critical waste. So these are the 4 stages of the segregation of the waste. Then they are also talking about the responsibilities of the states. Then it is also talking about the waste treatment. So these are the some of the points. The question can be asked regarding the solid waste management rules 2026. So this is the big background about it. Now we will see current status and challenges regarding the waste management. And before that, there are some of the legal and statutory provisions. And which are those provisions? The first is that Air Act, then there is Water Act 1974, 1981, then Environmental Protection Act, and under Environmental Protection Act there is CPCB, Central Pollution Control Board, and the State Pollution Control Boards, right? So this is the institutional mechanism you should remember to write in your answer. So this is about the legal status and the mechanisms. Now we will see the current status and the challenges. So what is the current status? The emission contribution. So waste sector generally accounts for 2.5% of the India's total emissions as of 2020, right? Then there is infrastructure gap, as we already discussed. And what are those gaps? So currently only 39% of the India is covered by the sewage network, and the other sewage is just flowing like that only. And out of that, only 44% sewage is collected and treated. Other sewage is directly sent into the rivers and the ocean and other water bodies. So that is the very important aspect. Then there is urban pressure and the high waste volume. As we already know that India is expecting to reach urban area of 53% by the 2050. And for that there is no proper infrastructure to waste management. India generally generates 100 million tons of municipal solid waste and around 2 lakh million liters per day of the domestic wastewater in the 2020. So imagine this wastewater and this waste is not getting treated properly, and it is actually problem for the urban areas of India. You can write this issue in the urbanization of India, right? Then there is low processing. Only 39% of the waste is being scientifically processed. And there are other issues also, and which are those other issues? Such as limited segregation, unmanageable plastic waste, and there is social stigma also. So generally to cleanliness and to collect the waste is considered as the social stigma, and one class of the society generally does this job. So Indian society as a whole is not very favorable for the cleanliness in the society. We want our home and our surroundings to be clean, but we don't want and our society to be clean, and we don't take proactive measures for it. So we think this is the job of someone and not ours. So this type of societal stigma is actually affecting the waste handling. And there is also problem of fragmented data systems, which is also affecting the effective implementation of the waste collection and management. So this is about the current status and the challenges in the waste collection. Then we will see key transformation levers which has been suggested by the NITI Aayog. And the first lever is that solid waste. Then what NITI Aayog is saying? So NITI Aayog is saying that biomethanization through the biogas plants is the one of the solution. Then it is also talking about the salt segregation. So it is saying that the waste should be segregated at the source only, right? And achieving 100% door-to-door segregation in the line with the Swachh Bharat Mission 2.0, right? Then it is also talking about the bioremediation. And what is the bioremediation? So it is talking about the cleaning up of the legacy waste. And what is the legacy waste? Legacy waste is the old dump sites. So there are waste mountains and hills around Delhi also and various cities. So such legacy waste should be used and through the microorganisms and non-sterile open environment to eliminate or to reduce the hazardous waste. So these are the some of the aspects for the solid waste suggested by the NITI Aayog. Now it have also suggested some of the measures for the wastewater. And which are those measures? So the first measure is that the domestic wastewater treatment. And it is saying that the augment the sewer network and cover 85% by the 2070 and ensure 100% fecal sludge treatment by 2070 through the fecal sludge treatment plants and co-treatment. And because of this fecal material in your water, there are E. coli bacteria. Please remember the name E. coli bacteria, and because of this you may infected with the hepatitis B, hepatitis C and other diseases. So this is the important aspect. Then it is also talking about the industrial wastewater. And what it is saying? That it is saying they improve the aerobic systems to reach a near zero methane collection factor by 2035, especially in the fertilizers, petroleum, agriculture sectors. So this is also very important. And it is also talking about the behavioral changes as we already discussed and institutional shift. So it is talking about the mission life, and under mission life it seeks to promote sustainable lifestyle to reduce the waste generation, right? Then it is also talking about the informational sector integration. And what it is saying? It is saying that the informal waste pickers, which should be also into the formal value chain of the waste management, right? So these people are also contributing to the waste collection and the waste segregation and all those things. So they should be part of the formal system, and then they will be effectively work, right? Then finally it is also talking about the green financing. And what is the green financing? So it is talking about the public private partnerships and the green bonds and also carbon credits to reduce the waste and promote the waste treatment, right? So these are the some of the initiatives suggested by the NITI Aayog, right? Now we will see the relevant MCQ and the previous year question. The first MCQ is from the 2019, and the question is, as per the solid waste management rules 2016 in India, which one of the following statement is correct? And the first statement is that waste generators have to segregate waste into 5 categories, which is not correct. Then see this C statement, the rules provide for the exact and elaborate criteria for the identification of sites for the landfills and the waste processing facilities. Then see the B, the rules are applicable to the notified urban local bodies, notified towns and all industrial townships only. This is the extreme statement. It is also there for the other areas also. So this statement is wrong. Then see D, it is mandatory on the part of the waste generator that the waste generated in one district cannot be moved to the another district. Why it cannot be moved to the another district if there is facility to treat that waste? So on the prima facie it is also wrong. So the answer remains the C. So sometimes you can apply such smart elimination techniques to get the right answer, right? Then see this main question, industrial pollution of river water is significant environmental issue in India. discuss the various mitigation measures to deal with this problem and also government initiative in this regard. So government initiative and various steps suggested by the NITI Aayog, you can say and quote those states, those measures here. And you also know the various issues which are lack of treatment, and all those data given in the article can be used here to substantiate your points and your answer. So this is about the main answer. See this second question. What are the impediments in the disposing the huge quantities of the discarded soil waste which are continuously being generated? How do you remove the safely the toxic waste that have been accumulating in our habitable environment? So it is asked in 2018, and again you can use the data given by us, the criteria and the various points and the various suggestion given by the NITI Aayog. You can also code those things here also. So this is about the previous year question asked related to waste generation and waste management. I have also given 2 questions to your practice. Please solve this question and give the answers in the comment section. Right, now we will see the next main news. So next main news is about periodic labor force survey PLFS released for the October and December quarter, and this is very important for paper 3, that is Indian economy and issues related to employment. So what is the background? So PLFS is the primary source of data on employment and unemployment contributions of the population conducted by the National Statistics Office. Please remember that National Statistics Office conducts the data, and National Statistics Office falls under Union Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, MOSPI. So this is the brief background. Now we'll see important definition before the data and its importance. So what are the important definition? Please understand this definition, then you will understand the various points given in the report. The first is that the labor force participation rate. And what is the labor force participation rate? So it is defined as the number of person or person days in the labor force per 1000 person and person days. Please remember that this is not 100, this is 1000. So UPSC can ask the question and you can actually fall in the trap. So this is the 1000, right? So number of persons or the person days in the labor force per 1000 person days. This is the labor force participation rate. Then what is the labor force? So labor force is defined as the total person working or employed and seeking and available for the work. So even they are unemployed, but they want employment, they are also calculated in the labor force. Please remember this fact also, right? Then there is worker population ratio. And what is the worker population ratio? So it is defined as the number of persons or person days employed per 1000 persons or person days, right? And what is the unemployment rate? So unemployment rate is defined as the number of persons per 1000 persons in the labor force, or the person days in the against the person days in the labor force. So these are the some of the important definition. Question can be asked about the definition, and you should remember that this is per 1000 persons, right? So this is about the important definition. Now we will see what are the various data given by the survey. So key findings are that labor force participation rate overall among the persons for the age 15 years and above witnessed an increase to 55.8%. Please remember one fact also, that the age is not 18 years, the age is 15 years, right? So this is also a very important point. Then what is about the female labor force participation? So it is also showing the increasing trend, and overall labor force participation of female have also increased to 34.9%. So you can quote these facts in the women empowerment and other aspects, right? So this is very important also. Then there is rise in workforce in toto. And what is the fact? The overall worker population ratio for the persons of the age 15 and above have rose to 53%, right? And regarding the rural workforce participation continues to show steady upward trends across both the genders, female and males. Then there is data regarding the unemployment rate, and what it is saying, so it have declined across both the rural, and it is around 4% in rural scenario, and in urban scenario it is about 6.7% in various sectors, right? So it is advisable that this should be below the 5%. In urban setup it is little higher, which is around 6.7%, right? Then there is self-employment data also, and self-employment have been increased in both rural areas and in urban areas. And then there is also point regarding the concentration of the workforce. So in rural areas, majority of the workers are engaged in the agriculture activities, nearly 58.5%, as we already know that the agriculture is the mainstay of the rural India. And in urban areas, it is generally in the tertiary sectors remain stable and engaging 61.9% of the workers. So this is about the key findings of the report. Now we'll see important MCQ asked regarding it. And what is the MCQ? First question is that disguised unemployment generally means. And A is large number of people remain unemployed. B, alternative employment is not available. C, marginal productivity of the labor is 0. And D, productivity of the workers is low. What is the answer? Answer is C, marginal productivity of the labor is 0. What is the disguised unemployment? So if there is a field and 10% are working on this field, and the field is sufficient to generate employment for the 10%, but what happens in family, the family members are 20 and 10 people cannot be unemployed, so all 20 people come to this field and do the work, and that is why there is no marginal increase in the productivity, but people are working without the need to work there, and that is called as disguised unemployment. So answer is C, because there are more people than need, so marginal productivity is 0 or the less. So C is the answer. Now see, there are two mains question also. Most of the unemployment in India is structural in nature. Examine the methodology adopted to compute the unemployment in the country and suggest the improvements. So we have already discussed one of the methodology in the report. Then there is other methodologies also, and you should say what are the issues. So one issue is the disguised unemployment, as we already discussed. So you should also discuss other issues such as seasonal unemployment, right? So these points you should discuss, right? Then see this second question. While we flaunt India's demographic dividend, we ignore the dropping rates of employability. What are we missing while doing so? There will be jobs that India desperately need come from. Explain. So there was one aspect in the economics survey previously, and that is jobless growth. And it was talking about that we are actually having the economic growth, but the jobs are not getting created. And one of the solution given by the economic survey by then was to create the labor intensive jobs such as leather, textile and other sectors. So you can write such innovative points in this answer, right? So this is about the question regarding the main news. Now we'll see the last main news of the day. So last main news is regarding the NITI Aayog study report on the agriculture, and it is very important for paper 3, GS paper 3, that is agriculture and environmental pollution. What is the development regarding it? So development is that the report is talking about scenarios toward the Viksit Bharat and net zero, emphasis on the strategic sequencing as transition strategy focusing on the resource efficiency, like micro irrigation and fertilizer optimization. And what is the strategic sequencing? So we actually prioritize some tasks, and the need for the prioritize is to resource efficiency, right? That is the one aspect. Then what is the strategic scaling of the pathways, like crop diversification away from the rice and sugarcane, because these are the water intensive crops. Then there is increasing share of solar and the electric pumps to reduce the electricity consumption through the conventional sources, and could also offer the mitigation to co-benefit and the energy savings, such as reduction in the carbon dioxide emissions. So this is about the development. Now we'll see report in detail. So before we see report in detail, what is the some of the important facts regarding the agriculture sector in India? You can directly write such points in the introduction of your answer, right? So the firstly, contribution. So it supports 46% of the workforce and contributes nearly 14% of the gross value added. That is the one fact. Then what is the role in the food security? So the between 2011 to 2019, food grains production increased from 285 million tons to 332 million tons in 2023-24. You can also write this fact, right? So this is about the agriculture sector and relevant facts. Now we'll see what are the key challenges in the agriculture. So the first key challenge is the dominance of the small and marginal farmers. Around 86% farmers are small and marginals according to the Agri Census 2015. When you give the data, please try to write the source of the data also in the bracket, right? And what is the small and marginal farmers? So small farmer is farmer who have the land between the 1 to 2 hectares, and marginal farmer is who have the land less than the 1 hectare, right? So this is the small and marginal farmer. That is the one issue. Then there is dual challenge of meeting the food demand and managing the environmental footprints. So we are also focusing on the reducing the carbon footprint, and also we are focusing on the food demand of the population. So this is the twin problem for the India. Then there is sector currently accounts to 14% of the national greenhouse gas emissions. So this is the huge related to other sectors, right? And which is driven by the methane from the fermentation and the rice cultivation, and nitrous oxide from the agriculture soils. Generally, artificial fertilizers are very important in that aspect. Then there is, it consumes around 18% of the national electricity, primarily to the power, groundwater irrigation, and expanding the mechanization. So this is also very important. So it is consuming large amount of energy and also contributing the large amount of greenhouse gases. So this is the key challenges regarding it. Now we'll see emission scenarios. And what are the emission scenarios? Under the current policy scenario, agriculture emissions, which under the non-energy sector, are expected to rise from the 500 million metric ton carbon equivalent from 2019 to 531 million metric ton carbon dioxide equivalent in 2070. That is the one issue. Then net zero scenario is that total emission of around 399 billion metric ton carbon dioxide equivalent in 2070, offering 25% mitigation co-benefits relative to the CPS, the current policy scenario, right? Then what are the key policy suggestions? So the policy suggestion is that integrating both demand and the supply sides, right, to cover the targeted roadmaps. Then there is institutionalized integrated agri-food system framework. So these are the some of the solutions given under the report. Then we will see implementation pathways and benefits. So what are the implementation pathways? The first implementation pathway is about the sustainable yield and diversification of the crops. And what are the relevant schemes? So Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana, crop diversification program, and it will enhance the output ratio of the per hectare. Then the primary outcome will be enhance farm outcomes, incomes, and the food security of the population. And what are the potential impacts? So it will reduce the carbon dioxide equivalent per hectare. Then there is natural and chemical free farming. And what are the schemes? The scheme is that National Mission on the Natural Farming and Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana. And what will change? So health of the soil will be improved. And what are the primary outcomes? So long-term yield sustainability and nutritional security, and reduce nitrous oxide emissions, right? And there will be also reduce leaching in the land, and there will be no sedimentation in the soil. So this is also one of the important factor. Then finally, last implementation pathway is that sustainable rice cultivation practices. And for that relevant scheme is that bringing green revolution to Eastern India, because Eastern India have the large rice producing states such as Chhattisgarh and other states, right? And what is the changing parameter? So use water efficiently. And what are the primary outcomes? So farm income will stably increase, and climate resilient agriculture practices will be improved. And what is the potential impact? So up to 59% reduction in the methane emissions. So this is about the agriculture and its impact on the environment. Now we'll see relevant question, MCQ, and the main question. The first question is about agricultural soil releases the nitrogen oxides into the environment. True, right? Then cattle releases the ammonia into the environment, which is also true. Then poultry industry releases the reactive nitrogen compounds into the environment, which is also true. The answer is D, 1, 2, and 3. Then see this question, with reference to the system of rice intensification, Sri, which of the following is correct? And the first is that reduce seed requirement, which is also right. Reduce methane reduction because of the less water, it is also true. And then reduce electricity consumption, because water is reduced, electricity consumption will also reduce. The answer is D. So this is the MCQs related to this article. There are also 2 questions given by me. Please try to solve these questions and give the answer in the comment section. Now we'll see next development. And next development is personality in news. And today's personality in news is Swami Dayanand Saraswati. On his birth anniversary, he was remembered. Let's see some of the important facts of the Swami Dayanand Saraswati. He was born in Gujarat, and he established Arya Samaj, right? Very important, in 1875. He was also a social reformer, and he opposed child marriage and enforced widowhood, right? He was in favor of the educational system which would emphasize on the grammar, philosophy, Vedas, science, medicine, and music. So he was not averse to the science and medicine and music. Please remember this fact also. Then he visualized the polity which would in the decentralization. So he talks about the vast commonwealth with the village as the units. Please remember this fact also. Then what is the important literary works? So he wrote the Satyartha Prakasha. His work was the Satyartha Prakasha. And what is the spiritual work? So he propounded Vedic concept of the Traitavada. And what is the Traitavada? So Traitavada is the culmination of 3 Vadas, which means 3 eternal things, which is Ishvara, Jiva, and Prakriti, which means environment. So this is about the personality in news. Also, please remember one fact, that Dayanand Saraswati gave the slogan "Back to Vedas." Right? So this is also very important. One of the controversial things they promoted was the Shuddhi movement. So Please remember this fact also. So this is all about the personality news. Now we will see the quick update. The first quick update of the day is about UNSC sanction committee, which is 1267. And what is the development? So latestly, United Nations Security Council 1267 committee report has recorded that Pakistan-based Jaish-e-Mohammed, a terror outfit, was linked to the Delhi Red Fort terror attack. So this is the development. Now we'll see about the UNSC 1267 committee. So this committee is very important, and it is the subsidiary body of the United Nations Security Council, and it is charged with the overseeing the sanctions against the ISIL, which means the ISIS and Al Qaeda, right? So this is the purpose of this committee. And when it was originated, so it was originated in 1999. That is also important aspect. And what is its composition? So it is comprised of the 15 members, which are the all the members of the UNSC, and decisions are taken by the consensus. This is also very important. What are its functions? So it is designating individuals for the sanction list, considering the request for the delisting and exemptions, and reporting annually to the Security Council related to various terrorist activities of these organizations, particularly ISIS and the Al Qaeda. This is the first quick update of the day. Now we'll see the second quick update of the day. And second quick update of the day is that Arctic Sentry. And what is the development? So NATO have launched the new mission called as Arctic Sentry to bolster the security in the Arctic region, right? And what is the NATO? As we already know that it is the political and military alliance created in 1439 against the Warsaw Pact of the USSR after signing the North Atlantic Treaty, right? And currently it have 32 members, and it is headquartered in the Brussels, Belgium. So this is about the NATO. Now we'll see about the Arctic Sentry. So Arctic Sentry is led by the Joint Force Command Norfolk, that serve as the bridge between the North America and the Europe for the NATO. And what is the strategic purpose? So basically strategic purpose is to maintain stability and challenging scenarios like increased military activity from the Russia and growing interest from the China in the Arctic region. So this is about the second quick update of the day. Now we'll see third quick update of the day, and that is right to recall. What is the development? So recently member of Parliament in Rajya Sabha floated the idea of introducing right to recall in the India's parliamentary democracy. What is right to democracy? What is right to recall? So it is a form of direct democracy which allows voters to remove an elected representative before their term ends. If representative is not working properly, so people have the choice to call them back and de-elect them by the voting. So this is the right to recall. And what is the status in India? So in India, it only supported at the local levels in some of the states such as Chhattisgarh, right? In various countries such as USA and UK, the concept is there. In USA, in some state, the concept is there. In UK, this concept is there, right? What are the other tools for the direct democracy? So while India have the representative democracy, certain tools allow citizens to exercise the power directly. For example, first is a referendum. And what is the referendum? A proposed piece of legislation is referred to the electorate for the acceptance or the rejection. When the important development related to sovereignty and other things, then their referendum is taken place, right? Then there is called as initiative. And what is the initiative? So citizen can propose a bill to the legislature. That is the initiative, and then that bill can be taken by the legislature. That is called as initiative. Then there is plebiscite. As we already know, primarily deals with the sovereignty, territorial dispute and political status. So if some part of the country wants to stay with this country or to be independent, that generally decided by the plebiscite. So this is all about the right to recall. Now we'll see next quick update of the day. The next quick update of the day is regarding the senior advocates. And what is the development? So Supreme Court of India had issued guidelines for the designation of the senior advocates by the Supreme Court. And let us see what are the important aspect of the senior advocates. The source. Firstly, designated under the Advocates Act of 1961. That is the first thing. Then who is the authority? So committee of the designation of the senior advocates consisting of the Chief Justice of India as a chairperson and two senior most Supreme Court judges. So this is the committee. Then what is the eligibility? So minimum 10 years experience as an advocate or combined 10 years as an advocate and district and session judge and judicial tribunal member, right? And it is based on the ability, standing at the bar and the title and label, and it is not the post. Please remember, this is not the post, this is just a title. And there is at least 45 hours of the age requirement is there, and unless relax and practicing in the Supreme Court is also necessity condition. So this is about the eligibility criteria. What are the restrictions? So they are restricted from filing wakalatnama, like acting directly for the clients and appearing in the court tribunals without an advocate on record or instructing junior. So they should have the junior to appear in the court. Then they cannot draft pleadings or directly accept the briefs, focusing solely on the arguing cases. So this is about the senior advocate. Now we'll see the next quick update. And the next quick update is related to National Medical Plans Board. And what is the development? So recently National Medical Plan Board completed 25 years. What is about the National Medical Plan Board? So it's headquartered in New Delhi. And what is its origin? So it was established in 2000 by the government resolution, right? And which is the ministry? So ministry is Union Ministry of Ayush. And who is the chairperson? So Union Minister of the Ayush is the chairperson. What is the mandate? So it promotes coordination among the state, central governments on all matters relating to medicinal plants, right? Then what are the other functions? So it see the policy implementation, R&D and all those functions, right? And there are some of the important initiatives such as e-Charak portal. Please remember this thing. And it is the online market mechanism for the information exchange between the various stakeholders. This is that. Then there is central sector scheme on the conservation, development and sustainable management of medicinal plants. So this is all about the National Medicinal Plant Board. Now we'll see the next quick update of the day. And next quick update of the day is the Vande Mataram. What is the development? So Union Ministry of Home Affairs have issued guidelines for formalizing protocols for the rendition of Vande Mataram. And what are the changes? So key guidelines is that it should be sung before national anthem when both are played, and audience shall stand to attention except when played as part of the film or the documentary. When it is played in the film or the documentary, then audience need not have to stand up, right? This is the key guidelines. Then let us see about the Vande Mataram. What is the origin? So it was composed in Sanskrit in Bengali script by the Bankim Chandra Chatterjee and first published in the Anandamath in 1882. And what was the Anandamath? So it was based on the Sannyasi revolt. So, right. Then it was adopted as the India's national song by the Constituent Assembly in 1950. And on January 24, 1950, it was declared the Vande Mataram would have equal status with the national anthem, that is Jana Gana Mana, right? Then it was recited for the first time in public by the Rabindranath Tagore in 1896 at the 12th annual session of the Indian National Congress. This is all about Vande Mataram. Now we will see next quick update of the day. The next quick update of the day is the Tamil Brahmi script. And what is the development? So researchers have identified Tamil Brahmi script in the Valley of Kings in the Egypt belonging to 1st and 3rd century EC, shedding light on the ancient trade between the Egypt and the South India, right? And what is about the Tamil Brahmi script? So it mentioned names of the traders in the Tamil Brahmi script, such as Sikai Koran. So Sikai Koran means the crown leader. Then Kopan, Katan, Kiran. So what is the Koran? So Koran also mentioned in the Sangam literature, where the Chera king is directly addressed as the Koran, right? Then about the Tamil Brahmi script. So what is the significance of this? So it is the variants of the Brahmi script used to write the ancient Tamil inscription. And what is the period? So it was between the 300 BC and 100 AD, around 400 years. And the greatest works in the Tamil Brahmi script is the Tirukural, which is the also considered as the fifth Veda, right? So it is talking about the ethical and moral principles on which the life should be led. So this is about the quick update. Then we'll see the last quick update of the day. And last quick update of the day is UA AI for all. And what is the development? So Ministry of Electronics and Technology collaborated with the All India Society for Electronics and Computer Technology and launched Kaushal Rath under the UA AI for all program. So what is the Kaushal Rath? So Kaushal Rath is a mobile artificial intelligence awareness initiative that advocates the goal of democratization of the AI education at the large scale. That is the issue and the purpose of the Kaushal Rath. Then what is about the UA AI for all? So it is a free 4.5 hour self-practice national course, and purpose is to have the AI accessible and understandable to everyone in the society, and available on the leading platform including Future Skills Prime, I got Karmayogi and other platforms, right? And part of the India AI mission. So UA AI for all is the part of the India AI mission, and mission was approved in March 2024 with a budget of around 10,000 crore rupees over the 5 years. So this is all about the quick updates of the day. So this is all about today. You can also solve the quizzes which will appear on your screen, and you can also solve other quizzes and read current affair material on our digital current affair portal. So let's visit there and study. This is all for the day. Thank you. Happy learning.